I don't want to pretend that I, hung out socially with Bob. I would talk to him in the office, and literally I can say from the time I was a kid watching CBS News growing up, because that's what we watched in my house, I've admired and looked up to Bob Simon. I think from the time I was a kid, his voice was so strong as a writer, and back then he was a correspondent in the Middle East, and to me, he was everything a reporter should be, and that I dreamed of being, and still to this day hope to be, a quarter of the reporter and the writer that Bob Simon is and has been. And to even be in the same office as him, 60 Minutes is it's a place full of great writers and producers and correspondents, but Bob Simon was a legend in my opinion, and somebody I was intimidated by. I was shy to talk to him. He started kind of poking fun at me a couple of years back. This year he was poking fun at me because I was getting short haircuts. But he was just a lovely guy. The producers who work with him loved working with him, and you can't say that about everybody in this business. He was a treat from everything I've heard to be on the road with. And again, you knew when Bob Simon presented a story on 60 Minutes, you knew it was going to be something special, no matter what it was. He had this curiosity and this willingness to go anywhere. And for somebody who'd been in the business that long and seen as many things as he had seen, to still have that curiosity and that desire to tell other people's stories, it's an incredible thing, and it's just so stunning to me that he's gone.
I can only imagine, and we should mention again that he died in a car accident in Manhattan, and you have been reporting about this, Anderson. He was, the war correspondent of war correspondents, had been all over the world, had covered everything basically since the 1960s. I believe we have a clip of his work. Let's look at it and then we'll talk about it.
So the government effort at the time was to convince people that there was nothing to worry about.
Exactly. Nothing to worry about. Don't worry, okay? Even don't prepare for that, severe accident, okay? Because that would cause that unnecessary unease and unnecessary misunderstanding.
And there's no reason to prepare.
No reason to prepare. So this avoidance ultimately translated into unpreparedness.
That was him reporting on the earthquake in Fukushima. And, we've been talking about the changing media landscape. Not everybody in this business, hardly anyone, could write like Bob Simon. And that's, the old school guys. That's the rigor of writing was really important to him.
Oh, I mean, his voice, it's one thing to be able to write. It's another thing to have a voice and write in your voice. You can write like, you can make something read like copy like anybody else. When Bob Simon presented, wrote a story, it was a story nobody else could have written in that way. Just his turn of phrase, his use of words, his reverence for sound and pictures. I talked to producers, because, I would interview, producers who I work with at 60 Minutes were Bob Simon's, Michael Gavshon, other producers who've worked with Bob Simon over the years. I would want to work with them so I could learn a little bit of what Bob Simon knew. And, they would tell me he would look at all the footage that was shot, which is something a lot of people don't really do. He would write to pictures. He would sit there. I remember walking by a couple weeks ago in 60 Minutes, walking by an edit room, and there he was, just sitting in the edit room, with the producers, with the editor. It's many hours of work sitting in an edit room, but he was there because that's the way he was able to craft the stories that he crafted.
He survived, Anderson. He was 73 years old. He survived by his wife, Francois, his daughter, Tanya, who is a 60 Minutes producer. What can you tell us about her? Do you know her?
Yeah, I've worked with Tanya on a number of stories. She and I did a profile of Eminem together. We're working on something actually right now together. She's a great producer, and she's somebody who grew up learning from her dad, and she's a remarkable, strong lady. And I feel for her, for Bob's wife, who I don't know, and for his entire family. Again, this was a guy. He was captured. He was taken prisoner in Iraq by Saddam's forces, and had by all accounts, a very rough time. And this was somebody who had survived so many close encounters over the years, so many desperate, difficult situations in the Middle East, covering, in Israel and elsewhere. For him to die like this, it's one of the things Jeff Fager, the executive producer, said in a statement tonight. It's incomprehensible.